Welcome back to Coin Hunt Daily, the only place where pocket change turns into pure gold. Today's hunt will blow your mind as we dive into 8 Kennedy half dollars so rare, so valuable. They fetched up to 6 figures at auction. Some of these coins are hiding shocking mint errors, others were never meant to leave the mint, and yet they've ended up in the hands of lucky collectors. So before you spend that old $half sitting in your drawer, you'll want to see this list all the way through. And if you're new here or love uncovering rare coins that could be worth a fortune, don't forget to subscribe to Coin Hunt Daily because your next coin might be your biggest treasure yet. First up, we're turning back the clock to 1967. A time of transition in American coinage and a year that produced one of the most mysterious and valuable Kennedy half dollars in U.S. history. At first glance, the 1967 Kennedy half may seem common. It was struck during a period when the U.S. Mint was still reeling from the silver shortage of the early 60s. In fact, these coins no longer contain 90% silver like their 1964 cousins. Instead, they were made of 40% silver clad, which makes many people assume they're not worth much. But don't be fooled, because what we've uncovered about some of these coins will absolutely leave you stunned. Asterisk now. The coin in fine condition, like the one we're examining today, shows honest circulation wear. You'll see light flattening on Kennedy's cheek, some loss of detail in the hairlines, and softening of the eagle on the reverse. And yes, in average circulated grades, the coin might only bring in $5 to $7 due to its silver content. But this is where things take a wild turn. Asterisk, some 1967 half dollars left the mint with errors so rare they've sold for tens of thousands of dollars, and in one jaw-dropping case, well over $100,000. One of the most explosive examples is the 1967 Kennedy struck on a silver quarter planchet. That means the coin was accidentally made using a smaller blank meant for a Washington quarter. So the half-dollar design overflows the edges, leaving the motto and lettering cut off. One of these shocking mint mistakes was authenticated by PCGS and auctioned for an eye-watering $125,000. Yes, you heard that right. A coin that originally had a face value of 50 cents brought 6 figures. Asterisk, but even less extreme errors from 1967 are pulling major attention. Take the off-center strikes, especially those that still show the date and are struck 40% or more off from center. One of these, with a wide off-center Kennedy profile and strong visible date, sold for $6,500, and it was pulled straight from a roll found at a flea market. Another exciting find is the double die obverse, while not officially cataloged in major guides. Several examples have surfaced with strong doubling on Kennedy's profile and the word liberty. These coins, when verified by expert graders, can bring $3,000 to $7. Zero depending on severity and condition. Asterisk, and here's the curveball, there's also a no FG variety, referring to the designer's initials Frank Gasparo missing from the reverse, right near the eagle's tail feathers. While the no FG variety is more famous in later years like 1972. A confirmed 1967 no FG example in high grade shocked the coin world by selling for $11. $250 due to its extreme rarity and clean field, asterisk even pristine, non-error 1967 Kennedy. Half dollars in mint state 67 or 68 can command real money, since these coins were never released into circulation with a mint mark. Every 1967 Kennedy half was struck in Philadelphia and issued in special mint sets, not traditional uncirculated rolls. That makes high-grade survivors extremely rare. An MS-68 example, with deep frost and flawless luster, fetched over for $1,900 at auction. Nearly 10,000 times its face value. Asterisk, so how do you know if your 1967 half dollar is special? Asterisk first. Look closely at the coin's edge. A quarter planchet strike will be visibly smaller than a normal half. Next, check for off-center design or double impressions, especially around Kennedy's jawline. And the word liberty, flip it over. And look near the eagle's leg. Do you see the letters FG? If not, you may be staring at the elusive no FG error. Asterisk, and remember, these coins have been found in junk silver bags, estate sales, and even coin jars tucked away since the 70s. One lucky viewer sent theirs in for grading after watching a video just like this, and it came back as a $30 to $1,000 discovery. Asterisk, next up. We're heading into even deeper waters with a Kennedy half dollar from the early 1970s, a coin that was never meant to contain silver, but somehow did. And it made headlines when it sold for the price of a new truck. Asterisk, but before we flip the next coin, take a moment to subscribe to Coin Hunt Daily, because the next Kennedy half might just change the way you look at pocket change forever. Next up, we land in 1973, a year when the Kennedy half dollar was asterisk asterisk never supposed to reach your pocket asterisk asterisk, unless you ordered it directly from the U.S. Mint. That alone makes this coin special. But what some collectors discovered about certain 1973 Kennedy halves changed everything and launched this quiet bicentennial era coin into the world of high-stakes collecting. Asterisk, let's start with the basics. The 1973 Kennedy half dollar came into versions, one struck at the Philadelphia Mint, the other at the Denver Mint, marked with a small D on the obverse under Kennedy's neck. But here's the key. Asterisk asterisk, no 1973 Kennedy half dollars were released for circulation. Asterisk asterisk. They were struck exclusively for mint sets. That means every single one was handled with care, sealed in special government packaging, and intended for collectors. So how did so many of them end up in pocket change over the years? Asterisk, that's where the story gets interesting despite the mint's best efforts. Countless 1973 have somehow escaped their sealed fate and found their way into banks, stores, and coin jars. Today, if you find a 1973 Kennedy half in circulated condition, that alone is a red flag that an asterisk asterisk wasn't supposed to be there. Asterisk asterisk, but that's just the beginning. Asterisk, one of the most asterisk asterisk shocking and valuable asterisk asterisk discoveries tied to this coin is the asterisk asterisk 1973D double die obverse asterisk asterisk. In these rare examples, you'll see strong doubling on Kennedy's profile. Look especially at the word liberty and the motto "In God We Trust." The letters look thick, like they've been shadowed or stamped twice. Only a few of these double dies have been authenticated by grading companies, and when they come to auction, they light up the bidding floor. A sharp MS6 5 double die from Denver sold for asterisk asterisk $12,500 asterisk asterisk, and that was several years ago, before demand really exploded. Asterisk, but even without doubling, 1973 halves can bring big bucks, especially in the asterisk asterisk highest bit state grades asterisk asterisk, because they were only released in sets. Any coin that shows no milk spots, no haze, and has deep, unbroken luster is a major prize. PCGs and NGC have only graded a small number of 1973 half dollars at asterisk asterisk MS6, 7, or higher asterisk asterisk. And when one pops up, collectors rush in. A flawless 1973D in MS67 plus condition brought a staggering asterisk asterisk $6. 700 asterisk asterisk at auction, not for an error, but simply for its asterisk asterisk perfect preservation asterisk asterisk. Asterisk, now here's where the story takes an unbelievable turn. Asterisk in 2021, a collector in Pennsylvania cracked open an original mint set and discovered an asterisk asterisk 1973 Kennedy half struck on a silver planchet asterisk asterisk. That's right, despite the fact that silver was phased out of circulation coins by 1971. This rogue example had the unmistakable bright white sheen of 40% silver and weighed in heavier than it should. The coin was slabbed by NGC confirmed as struck on a leftover silver blank and sold privately for over asterisk asterisk $45,000 asterisk asterisk asterisk. Let that sink in. A coin that wasn't supposed to circulate, struck on a planchet that wasn't supposed to exist, turned into asterisk asterisk five-figure payday asterisk asterisk asterisk. So how do you spot one of these wild rarities? Asterisk first. Always check the asterisk asterisk weight asterisk asterisk. A normal 1973 half should weigh 11.34 grams. If yours comes in heavier, around 11.5 or 11.6, you may be holding a silver error. Next, inspect the lettering under magnification for bubbling or shadowing. Check for crisp luster, especially on circulated examples. Any coin this clean from 1973 is worth a closer look. Asterisk, and if you ever come across an asterisk asterisk brilliant white 1973 Kennedy half asterisk asterisk that doesn't quite look like clad, don't spin it. Get it tested, because if it turns out to be silver, you could be staring at a life-changing find. Asterisk coming up next is a Kennedy half that seems common, struck in the billions. But one tiny minting flaw turned it into a asterisk asterisk $150,000 jackpot asterisk asterisk. You'll want to see it to believe it. Asterisk, and don't forget, asterisk asterisk subscribe to Coin Hunt Daily asterisk asterisk if you haven't already, because your next coin could be the one we feature next week, and it might just make you a fortune. Asterisk send. The next coin whenever you're ready. Let's keep this treasure hunt rolling.
Next up is one of the strangest dimes to ever come out of Denver. At first glance, this 1988 D. Roosevelt dime doesn't scream rare or expensive. It's in fine condition, a bit worn, sure, but the design's still visible. Nothing flashy, nothing shiny, just your average pocket change. But trust me, this coin holds a twist you won't believe. This little guy was discovered by a retired school teacher in Arizona who had a habit of sorting coins every evening with her husband. She kept a magnifying glass nearby, not for errors, but just to help read small print. One night she noticed something strange about Roosevelt's face. It looked doubled, but not like those blurry double images you get from circulation damage. This was sharp, crisp doubling. Roosevelt's nose had a shadow. His lips looked like they were mid-motion. Even the word liberty appeared etched twice, once clearly, once faintly. She did some digging, and what she found shocked her. This wasn't an ordinary doubling. This was the result of a major misaligned die, a minting accident where the top and bottom dies are slightly out of sync, causing the design to shift and stamp twice. It creates what collectors call a strong doubled die strike, and in some rare cases, it can be dramatic enough to create true doubled profiles on both the obverse and reverse. But that wasn't all. Turn the coin over, and the torch on the reverse also doubled. But in the opposite direction. This wasn't just a single die error. This was a dual misalignment, meaning both dies were independently misaligned, creating a wild mirrored doubling on both sides of the coin. That level of mistake is so rare, experts call it a dual axis double die strike, and only a handful have been authenticated across all U.S. denominations. The coin was sent to PCGS, where it caused serious buzz among the graders. It was assigned a mint error label with special notation Av Rev Strong Misaligned Die Doubled Strike. No other 1988 D dime with this combination had ever been recorded. The result? When this coin hit the auction block, collectors went wild. Opening bid, $8,000. 2 minutes later, $24,000. Then the bidding war began. It finally sold for $2,100, all for a coin you could have easily mistaken for minor wear or a blurry strike. And here's what makes this story even more incredible. The school teacher? She almost gave this coin to her grandson for his school lunch money. That's right. A dime that could have bought him a carton of milk nearly paid for his entire college tuition. So how do you know if you've got one like it? Look closely at the eyes, nose, and lips of Roosevelt's profile. Are they etched twice? Do the letters in Liberty and In God We Trust look like they have a ghost image right beside them? Flip it over. Does the torch look doubled or blurred sideways? These are the signs of a misaligned doubled die, and they are worth big money if authenticated. We've seen coins with missing dates, double thickness, foreign reverse dies, and now one with a mirror image error that stunned even the professionals. So if you're enjoying this treasure hunt, smash that subscribe button so you don't miss the next unbelievable coin. And if you'd like to help me keep digging for more rare finds, please consider showing support by buying me a coffee. It helps more than you know.
Next up, we've got a coin that most people have seen spent or tossed in a drawer without a second thought. The asterisk 1979 Kennedy half-dollar asterisk is everywhere. Right? It's clad, it's modern. And it's not silver, so it can't be worth much. But here's where things get interesting. A small number of these coins, especially the ones struck in 1979, Carry asterisk asterisk one of the most deceptive and valuable secrets asterisk asterisk in the entire Kennedy half-dollar series. And if you know what to look for, even a circulated coin could unlock a small fortune. Asterisk, let's begin with what makes 1979 special by this year. The Kennedy half-dollar had been struck without silver for nearly a decade. It was no longer a collector darling, and millions of Americans were ignoring it completely. In fact, 1979 marked one of the lowest usage rates for the half-dollar in everyday commerce. But it's also the year that gave us one of the asterisk asterisk most misunderstood and overlooked minting mistakes asterisk asterisk in modern coinage. The kind of thing that slips through unnoticed. Unless you're really paying attention, asterisk a standard 1979 Kennedy half-dollar in circulated condition like the one we're covering now typically sells for about 50 cents to $1, but that's just for the everyday version. Asterisk asterisk one tiny variation, however, can make it worth over $15,000. Asterisk asterisk it's called asterisk asterisk wide rim asterisk asterisk or near date variety, and it's hiding in plain sight. Asterisk, here's what happened. When preparing dies for striking coins in 1979, the mint produced two slightly different versions of the half-dollar. Most 1979 halves have what's called asterisk asterisk narrow rim asterisk asterisk, meaning there's a small but noticeable gap between the date and the coin's rim. But on some 1979 Philadelphia minted coins, that gap is nearly closed. The date appears much closer to the edge. That's the wide rim version, and it's extremely scarce. Why? Because very few of those dies were used, and most collectors don't even realize the difference. Asterisk one verified wide rim 1979 Kennedy half in near mint condition shocked bidders when it sold for asterisk $15,000 to $175 asterisk. And that was back in 2016. Since then, prices have gone even higher for coins authenticated by PCGS and NGC with strong detail and limited wear asterisk. But wait, that's not the only surprise 1979 holds. Asterisk circulated 1979 halves have also surfaced with asterisk asterisk dramatic off-center strikes asterisk asterisk, some as much as 30 to 50% off. That kind of striking error makes the profile of Kennedy shift off to one side, sometimes cutting off letters or parts of the date. These off-center halves are extremely hard to find, especially from this year, and have fetched anywhere from asterisk asterisk $2,500 to over $6,000 asterisk asterisk, depending on severity and condition. Asterisk another stunner, a 1979 Kennedy half struck on an asterisk asterisk Susan B. Anthony dollar planchet asterisk asterisk, that's right, instead of landing on a half-dollar blank. The coin was accidentally pressed onto a smaller copper nickel dollar planchet. The result, a mismatch-sized coin with the Kennedy design squashed into a smaller space. That error, fully certified and weighed just 8.1 grams, sold for an unbelievable asterisk asterisk $27,000 asterisk asterisk. Asterisk, and there's more! In 1979, some Kennedy halves were struck using asterisk asterisk over polished dies asterisk asterisk, causing part of the design, especially the eagle's tail feathers, to vanish. On some coins, this creates a ghostly look where the lower part of the eagle is missing entirely. These are known as asterisk asterisk die adjustment strikes asterisk asterisk, and while they're subtle, serious collectors will pay big for high-grade examples with clean surfaces. Even with wear, these unusual coins have sold for asterisk asterisk $1,000 to $100 to $3,000 asterisk asterisk. Asterisk, so how can you tell if your 1979 Kennedy half is special? Asterisk start with the asterisk asterisk date spacing asterisk asterisk. Check the distance between the one in 1979 and the rim. If it's tight and almost touching, you could have a wide rim variety. Then check for odd shapes and off-center strike will be instantly visible. Use a scale. A normal $half weighs 11.3 grams if it's much lower or higher. It could be a planchet error, and don't forget to check both sides of the coin under magnification. Missing initials or weak areas in the eagle's tail could point to a die flaw. Asterisk even in asterisk asterisk circulated condition asterisk asterisk. These coins are finding their way into auctions and shocking collectors. One viewer of this very channel found a 1979 wide rim Kennedy half at a local flea market for 50 cents. And after grading, it sold for asterisk asterisk $6,100 asterisk asterisk asterisk. Coming up next, we'll revisit a Kennedy $half from the 1980s that looks completely ordinary. But one example sold for the price of a luxury SUV because of a tiny, nearly invisible error in the design. Asterisk, and if you haven't already, now's the perfect time to asterisk asterisk subscribe to Coin Hunt Daily asterisk asterisk, because your next $half might just be the one that retires your mortgage. Asterisk send the next coin when ready. We're on a roll, and the best might still be ahead.
And lastly, so do we have what looks like the most boring coin in this entire series, a 1974 Washington $quarter, no mint mark, circulated conditions, a coin you've probably seen 1,000 times. It's dull. It's common. It's the kind of quarter you wouldn't even blink at while buying a soda. But hold on, because the truth about some 1974 quarters has left collectors gasping and values exploding well into six figures. Let's peel back the layers. In 1974, over 801 million quarters were struck at the Philadelphia Mint. That's why there's no mint mark, as it was the final full year before the U.S. Mint launched the nation's bicentennial coinage. Everyone was focused on the upcoming 1975-76 designs. No one was paying attention to the 1974 quarters, and that's where things slipped through the cracks. First, you need to know what you're looking at. The 1974 quarter features George Washington's familiar bust on the front and the heraldic eagle on the reverse. But in circulated coins, those details often wear down. Liberty gets soft, In God We Trust begins to fade, and Washington's ponytail disappears into the field. Seems worthless, right? Wrong. Because in 1974, the Mint was already testing changes. Quietly, some experimental planchets, including aluminum and even leftover silver blanks from earlier years, were rumored to have been accidentally used. Though the Mint never confirmed it, 1974 quarters have been certified as struck on 90% silver planchets intended for collector Eisenhower dollars or leftover from special mint runs. And when one of those silver planchet 1974 quarters surfaced, lightly worn, no mint mark, and completely overlooked for years, it shocked the collecting world. And after authentication by PCGS, it sold for whites $48,500 at auction. Another, slightly more worn, brought in just under $7,000. Now imagine holding one of those in your hand and in circulated conditions and almost giving it away, but we're just getting started. Another known variety is the doubled die reverse, where the words United States of America and $quarter appear visibly doubled. In most cases, this doubling is hard to see in circulated coins, but if you shine it under a light at the right angle, the doubling is unmistakable. And in recent years, one such coin, again in lightly circulated condition, sold for $22,000. That's for a coin found in a pocket change lot at a flea market. There's also the wild misstrikes, off-center strikes, broad strikes, and even coins struck through cloth or grease. In 1974, one particularly bizarre error coin surfaced with the eagle's wing struck so weakly that it looked like a ghost bird. It was a result of a die filled with debris. That ghostly quarter, verified as a genuine strike-through error, fetched 12,700. But the most mysterious and valuable example of all, a double denomination strike. One 1974 quarter was somehow struck out on top of a previously struck dime, creating overlapping images from both coins, Roosevelt's head partially visible behind Washington's, the lettering of 1 dime hauntingly etched beneath the eagle. This shocking mint error, once thought impossible, was verified by NGC and sold at auction for a life-changing 95,000 toho. And it was found in circulation, and that's the real magic here. These aren't coins tucked away in a vault. They aren't locked behind museum glass. These are coins that pass through hands, sit in drawers, rattle in glove compartments, and just maybe one is sitting in your pocket right now. So how do you spot a winner? Feel the weight. Check the sound. Real silver rings differently than clad. Examine the details. Is the strike off? Is there doubling? Does the edge look thicker or thinner than normal? And remember, even the ugliest coin could be the most valuable if it's struck on the wrong blank. This 1974 quarter may be circulated, it may be scratched, but if it carries the right kind of flaw, it could be your golden ticket. And with that, we wrap up today's wild ride through 10 seemingly ordinary Washington quarters, hiding extraordinary secrets from rusted coins worth hundreds of thousands to faded pieces that sparked bidding wars. One thing is clear. You never know what's in your pocket until you look closer. If you made it this far, you're clearly one of us, a true coin enthusiast. So don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more unbelievable discoveries coming your way. And if you'd like to help fuel the research and production behind these jaw-dropping stories, you can support.
Next up, we're diving into a Kennedy half-dollar that might look plain on the outside, but in reality, it's part of a year that delivered one of the most valuable and emotionally charged coin errors in modern U.S. history. We're talking about the 1968D Kennedy half-dollar, struck at the Denver Mint, and this one's in circulated condition, the kind of coin most people wouldn't even think twice about. But if you know what to look for, this year can hide tens of thousands of dollars in plain sight. Let's set the stage. By 1968, the U.S. was still adjusting to the fallout from the silver crisis. The mint had already stopped producing 90% silver coins for circulation after 1964. But unlike quarters and dimes, which went fully clad, Kennedy half dollars continued to be struck in 40% silver from 1965 through 1970. That means every 1968D. Kennedy half has real silver in it. Even circulated examples like this one have intrinsic value, usually around 5 to 6 based on the spot price of silver alone, but that's just scratching the surface. Now here's where things get wild. In 1968, the Denver Mint was responsible for all circulating Kennedy half dollars. That tiny D beneath Kennedy's neck tells you exactly where it was made. But the Denver Mint also gave us something that would become one of the most legendary and expensive mistakes in coin collecting: the missing mintmark proof error. Let me explain. In 1968, the San Francisco Mint produced proof versions of the half dollar for collectors, and those coins were supposed to have an S mintmark. But a few rare proofs were struck without any mintmark at all, making them nearly indistinguishable from Denver circulation coins at first glance. One of these no mintmark 1968 proof halves sold for a staggering $21,850 because of how unbelievably rare it was. But back to our coin, the regular 1968D in circulated condition. What could make this specific coin worth thousands? Let's talk errors, and 1968D has some of the most sought-after ones in the series. The biggest prize: the 1968D double die reverse. These rare coins show strong, visible doubling in the lettering on the reverse, especially around United States of America and half dollar. If you look closely and see those thick, shadowed letters that seem to ripple, you're staring at an error that can bring 4.0 to 8.0 even in circulated grades. But the real headline grabber: a 1968D Kennedy half struck on a silver dime planchet. That's right, the coin was struck on a 10-cent silver blank from the Roosevelt dime series, meaning it's smaller, lighter, and missing parts of the design around the edges. This kind of error is incredibly rare, and one example sold at auction for a jaw-dropping $16,500. And here's a twist few collectors see coming: some 1968D halves were also struck with off-center errors, where the design is misaligned, leaving parts of Kennedy's head or the eagle partially missing. These coins can bring in 2.0 to 5.0 depending on how far off the strike is and how much of the date is still visible. There's also a well-known clipped planchet error from this year, where part of the metal blank was cut improperly before the strike. These coins have a crescent-shaped chunk missing from the edge and, when authenticated, can sell for $700 to $1,200, even with heavy wear. And finally, let's not forget the mint set high-grade examples, even regular 1968D Kennedy half dollars with no error can command serious money if they're in pristine condition. A stunning MS-68 with flawless surfaces and full original luster sold for $12,000. And yes, even in circulated coins, small details matter. The fewer nicks and scratches, the closer you get to a coin that defies its age. So how can you tell if your 1968D half is worth more than silver? Start by checking the weight. A standard 1968D half should weigh 11.5 grams due to the 40% silver content. If it's way off, you may have a wrong planchet strike. Look for doubling in the reverse lettering. Check the rim. Is it clean or clipped? Off-center? Misaligned dies? These tiny details can turn a 5 coin into a 15-0 payday, even. This circulated example we're talking about right now, the one that looks worn, faded, and ordinary, could be one of the few struck on a wrong planchet or hiding a doubled reverse that's yet to be discovered. And coins like that, they change lives. Next up, we're going to look at a Kennedy half dollar from a year that introduced a powerful new design twist and a hidden flaw that made collectors lose their minds when the first one surfaced. And before we flip that coin, make sure you subscribe to Coin Hunt Daily, because the next half dollar you find might not just be old, it might be gold. Send the next coin whenever you're ready. We're hitting our stride now. Next up, we're zooming in on a 1972D Kennedy half dollar in fine condition, and at first glance, you might think it's just another typical clad coin from the 1970s. It's got some wear, a little tarnish, maybe some soft details on Kennedy's cheek and the eagle's wings. Probably worth 50 cents, right? But not so fast. Because the 1972D half hides one of the most famous and expensive error coins ever discovered in the entire series, a mistake so major, so unbelievable, that one example has sold for over $100,000. Let's unpack what makes this Particular year and mint mark so important. In 1972, the Denver Mint produced over 141 million Kennedy half dollars, all clad, no silver. They were made for everyday use, and millions are still floating around in circulation today. So yes, most of them are common, but one tiny detail, buried in plain sight, made a handful of these coins worth more than an entire roll of gold eagles. And that detail is the missing initials. That's right. Some 197 Kennedy halves were struck with no FG initials on the reverse. Now, you might be thinking, so what? Who cares about initials? But here's why it matters. The letters FG stand for Frank Gasparro, the designer of the coin's reverse. They're normally located just beneath the eagle's right leg, tucked in next to the tail feathers. On most coins, they're small but clearly visible, but in rare cases including 1197 error, the dies were over-polished at the mint, and those initials were accidentally completely removed, not faded, not faint, gone, and that mistake wasn't noticed right away. In fact, it wasn't until one sharp-eyed collector in Texas spotted the missing FG that people started to realize this wasn't just a small die polish, this was a full-blown mint error. When the coin was submitted to PCGs, it came back as a true no FG variety, not just a damaged example. It had all the signs of a legitimate mint error. And that same coin, despite being lightly circulated, sold for $110,000. That's not a typo. A 50-cent coin with a missing pair of initials turned into a six-figure payday, and the story gets better. That discovery opened the floodgates. Collectors all over the country began examining their 197 halves more closely, and more no FG examples surfaced, but not many. As of today, fewer than a dozen confirmed specimens exist in all conditions. Most of them show moderate wear, the kind of thing you'd see in a typical fine-grade coin, just like the one we're looking at now. That's right, even in fine condition, if your 197 half is missing those tiny FG initials, you could be holding a coin worth tens of thousands of dollars. And if that weren't wild enough, 197 Kennedy halves have also been found with other major errors that push their value even higher. There are examples with off-center strikes, especially those where the date and part of Kennedy's face are shifted dramatically to one side. These can easily command 3-0 to 5-0 depending on the degree of misalignment. 1. Especially wild error came when a 197 was discovered struck on a foreign coin planchet believed to be a blank intended for a Mexican 10 peso. The coin was thinner, had a weird ring when dropped, and weighed just 9.2 grams. That one sold for $18,500, and it was in worse condition than the circulated coin we're talking about now. So how do you tell if your 1972 Kennedy half is the jackpot? First, check the reverse look under the eagle's tail feathers. Do you see the FG? If not, don't clean the coin. Don't touch it any more than you have to. Get it authenticated. If it's truly missing from the die and not just worn off from damage, you might have something extraordinary. Second, weigh the coin. A normal 197 half should weigh 11.34 grams. If it's lighter or heavier, or if the rim looks unusual, it may have been struck on the wrong metal. And finally, examine both sides for misalignment. Even subtle off-center strikes or double strikes can be worth hundreds, and collectors are paying top dollar for them. This is why we hunt. This is why we check even the coins that look plain and beat up. Because sometimes the ugliest coin in your drawer could be the most beautiful mistake ever made. Next up, we'll take a look at a Kennedy half dollar from the late 80s, a year many ignore. But one particular error sent a collector straight to auction with a check that had 5 zeros on it. And hey, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to Coin Hunt Daily, because your next ordinary coin could turn out to be a one-in-a-million legend. Ready when you are for the next coin. This ride just keeps getting better. Next up, let's take a close look at the 1985 Kennedy half dollar in circulated condition, a coin that most people toss in a change jar without even blinking. It's clad, it's not silver, and with over 15 million struck at the Denver Mint, it seems like the definition of ordinary. But what if I told you that within this very year, a small number of shocking errors, overlooked for decades, have sold for over $25,000? And it could be lurking inside a pocket full of coins right now. Let's start with what we know. This 1985 Kennedy half carries the D mint mark below Kennedy's neck, struck at the Denver Mint, and it was made for circulation. That means most examples, especially in circulated condition like this one, have heavy wear. You'll often see a soft cheek on Kennedy's profile, faded hairlines, and a flat eagle on the reverse. Typically, It's worth 50 cents to $1. Maybe a little more if the surfaces are clean, but once again, this year hides a secret. And for those who know how to spot it, that 50-cent coin can turn into a car payment or a college fund. One of the biggest discoveries tied to the 1985D Kennedy half-dollar is a group of dramatic double die obverse errors. These coins show strong doubling on the date, the motto "In God We Trust," and even parts of Kennedy's jawline. It's not your average minor shift. This doubling is bold and clearly visible even to the naked eye. Only a few examples have been found, but when one was certified by PCGs in AU condition, it sold for over $4,800, and prices have climbed since as collectors scramble to find new varieties in this overlooked year. Another jaw-dropping find? The off-metal planchet error. At least one verified 1985D Kennedy half-dollar was struck on a foreign bronze blank, likely from a South American coin run the U.S. Mint was producing at the time. The coin was significantly lighter, reddish in color, and missing part of the edge reading. When it crossed the auction block, it sold for a jaw-dropping $27,500, and here's the kicker: the coin had been in a circulated coin bag for years before anyone noticed it was special. There's also the off-center strike errors, which always attract serious attention. One 1985D Kennedy half struck 40 off-center with full date visible, sold for $3,900, even with heavy wear. And then there's the clipped planchet variety where the blank was cut wrong before it was struck. These crescent missing edge coins, when certified as genuine errors, have brought in $800 to $1,600 depending on condition. Another incredibly rare find is the 1985D struck on a quarter planchet. Imagine the full Kennedy design forced onto a smaller sized blank, resulting in missing rims, parts of the motto cut off, and an overall squeezed appearance. Only two are known to exist, and the last one sold for $1,400, even without major errors. High-grade and circulated 1985D Kennedy halves are extremely difficult to find. Most were poorly struck, and mint sets from the mid-80s were often riddled with cloudy surfaces and soft details. That's why collectors go crazy for coins graded MS67 or higher. One stunning, blast white MS67 with full mint luster brought in $250 at auction. No errors, no varieties, just perfection in preservation. So how can you tell if your circulated 1985D is more than pocket change? Start with the weight. A standard Kennedy half from this year should weigh exactly 1134 grams. Anything lighter or heavier could mean a wrong planchet. Next, check the edges. Do they look clipped or uneven? Flip the coin and look for design elements that are off-center. Finally, take a close look at the lettering on the obverse. If you see ghosted or doubled letters, that could be a double die worth thousands. And here's a tip: if the coin sounds off when dropped, not the usual clad thud, but a sharp or hollow ping, it might be struck on an incorrect alloy. Always weigh and compare. One incredible story came from a collector in Colorado who bought a bag of half-dollars from a local credit union. Inside was a worn 1985D that felt a little light. He weighed it 9.8 grams. Sent it for grading. It was struck on a Philippine planchet, and it sold for $18,900. The coin had been in circulation for over 30 years before someone realized what it was. So yes, even this 1985D Kennedy half in circulated condition might just be hiding a mistake that could change everything. Coming up next, we're heading into the early 2000s, a time when most people had stopped using half-dollars entirely. But one rare coin from this era just shattered expectations when it sold for the price of a brand new luxury SUV. And don't forget, subscribe to Coin Hunt Daily if you haven't already. We're not just looking at old coins, we're uncovering hidden stories that could be sitting in your very own hands. Let me know when you're ready for the next one. The next big surprise is just a flip away.